What's happening, y'all? So, a lot of you have written me and you want to know my views, my opinion on, Muhammad Ali passing. And I found out I was at a party. I was at my friend's birthday party, having a great time. And one of my friends there says, "Did you hear about Muhammad Ali?" And I was like, "What? What? Did he die?" And she was like, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer because we're all having a good time. And, I'm like, "He died?" And she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Get the hell out of here." So, I went and I looked it up and I was like, wow. I think he was 73 or something. But it's really surprising to me, because he's such an icon, it wasn't that he was just a part of American history. He was a part of history itself. You know what I mean? Just everything that was going on at that time. He was a part of it. Pinnacle part. The highlight. Was just. Of course, from what I know, because I didn't live in that time. So it's difficult in a way for me to appreciate who he really was, to truly appreciate who he really was and what he really represented, what he really stood for. I was just watching a video when they were asking Jim Lampley about him dying, and he lived it. He was raised in a time where he saw him win his gold medal, where he saw him, rise to be a champion. And he also met him. He talked about how he babysat his daughter one time for him. And, I think it's different to live through someone's build to fame and popularity and be there to witness this stuff on TV. And, of course, not everybody got to meet him. Of course, he did. But, I liken it to something like similar to how Bruce Lee is. As much as I like him and I respect him and love his movies, I think I'll never be able to truly appreciate who he was and what he was because I was not there. I think he died before I was born. He died in like 73 or something maybe. I was born in 77. When Muhammad Ali fought Larry Holmes, I was 3, I believe, So while I can go back and I can watch these guys on TV, I wasn't there to experience that aura, that impact, that energy in America when these guys were riding high. It's nature being human. You're born at a certain point, and it's just if you were there, there's a lot of things that I'm experiencing now that people that are born later will never truly understand or be able to appreciate, And that's how I kind of feel about it. I was there to experience Prince and Michael Jackson. I grew up with them. I was there for that impact, So when they died, it hit home way more than hearing about Muhammad Ali dying because I wasn't there. Guys like Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., I was there for that. I was there for that. To witness it live, to witness that energy. You know what I mean? To be there when Mike Tyson was literally destroying people. His run on top is arguably one of the greatest runs of all time, if not the greatest. Him in his prime is arguably makes him the greatest boxer of all time. Roy Jones Jr. in his prime arguably makes him the greatest boxer of all time. Muhammad Ali in his prime arguably makes him the greatest of all time. And I've heard many boxing enthusiasts say who they believe is the best, and Muhammad Ali isn't always the one that they say. I am a guy that can think critically and look at things and and I definitely respect other people's opinions. But I wish I was there to see it all, you know. And who knows, maybe one day I'll just like go back and watch all of his, fights one day, and just see exactly what people are talking about. Because I've seen a few, but I didn't see them all. I've seen some highlights and stuff, and he definitely was incredible. He was different. You know what I mean? He worked psychologically, not just physically, on his opponents, which is something that's different. That not everybody does. You know what I mean? In a way, he was the whole package, because he was a technician, a tactician, and he mentally psyched you out, and he was a showman. You know what I mean? So, he's not the package that every boxer was. And I definitely respect his career and who he was and what he stood for, and everything from his transition to being Muslim. And, I understood what he was saying when I would listen to his speeches. I understood where he was coming from, his stance on the war and not going into the war. I understood his stance on that, and it's just a lot of things out there, that he said that as a critical thinker, I could understand what the man meant. Doesn't mean I totally agreed with everything he said, no. But I can say I understood him. He was a revolutionary. He really was in certain ways, So he's a part of world history that, he's gone now, and, he definitely left his mark. He's one of those guys that reached, quote unquote, like godhood amongst men, and popularity and influence. You know what I mean? It's one of those rare levels that men reach. Even only certain world leaders reach that level. You know what I mean? Certain entertainers like Michael Jackson, or someone like Elvis. They reach that to where it's like they're not just a star, they're superstars. They're them saying something or making a decision can literally sway the masses. That type of influence. That's the type that Muhammad Ali does. Where waves and masses of people want to be like them and want to emulate them. And if they die, they feel it here. It's just, though they've never met them in person, like that amount of influence is just incredible. You know what I mean? So, but post all your comments down below. Let me know what you all think and how it affected you. I'm sure it also affected guys that were boxers differently. I know a boxer, and I remember when I was talking to him one day, and I said, who is the greatest? He said, Muhammad Ali. Seriously, man. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. He said, after I learned to box, and I went back and I watched his fights, he really is. Like, if you saw what he did, his psychology, just the way he moved, what he did to guys, he really is. And I was like, wow, okay. So he went into this explaining basically like, he knew even if he got beat, how to come back and pick you apart. And, a lot of people believe that's one of the greatest gifts of all, to be able to get up, even though you might lose, to get up and come back and take somebody out, because you learned from your mistakes. You learned how to overcome, some guys, box another guy and you get beat twice, it's like you didn't learn your lesson the first time. So, but I remember seeing a documentary on him, and I think there was a couple of guys that, a couple of boxing enthusiasts, or I can't think of the right word right now, but they were like, I don't think he ever beat such and such. And I was like, wow, I forgot who it was that they said. I can't remember who it was. And I was like, wow. I was like, oh, I got to see this. I got to see those fights, because, I'm always hearing it's greatest. And I know he gave himself that nickname, but he also, when you give yourself a name like that, it forces you to live up to it, which I think is what he did. And I want to go back and watch his fights and see, exactly what people are talking about. So, post your comments down below. Like I said, let me know what you all think. If you enjoyed, my video, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. If you did not, you can kiss my black derriere. Ah! Yo, I gotta say, I do remember one of the best things to me watching TV, I do remember, was his Roach Motel commercials. I absolutely liked them. I loved them. With, oh, Mama Lee, you got roaches. It was funny, man. Like he was, it was funny, man. I'm going to look up a Roach Motel commercial and watch that right now, because that's what I remember. It was kind of like with George Foreman. With George Foreman's boxing career, I never remembered. What I remembered was the Foreman Grill. See what I'm saying? So I never had a chance to truly understand and appreciate the powerhouse and destroyer that George was. You know what I mean? I never got to see it. So I have to go back and watch both of their careers. All right. 1 million subscribers. Woo!